So that's the very last lock now on the Shannon Erne link. We're on the Northern Ireland side, the Lough Erne side. So the bank on the right hand side is the Republic of Ireland, and the bank on the left hand side is the UK, or Northern Ireland. So we're threading the line somewhere right along the border.
Well, good morning. We've just left we've left Ballyconnell about a half an hour ago, and we're heading over to Belturbet. Now we have gone through
two locks.
Two locks, yeah.
First one was in Ballyconnell town, or well, it's just outside Ballyconnell town, and we shared it with another boat, which is grand and handy. And we've just gone through the last one there now. That's our very last lock on the Shannon Erne link.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You're going to get that a wee bit more throttle because it's kind of vibrating a wee bit. That's good. So now the water level here is the same as it is on Lough Erne. We're on the Woodford River. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Scorching.
Fabulous, yeah. Absolutely
lovely. The forecast is for rain, I think, in about 2 days' time. So we're going to head down to Belturbet. As we said in the last vlog, we didn't know where we were going, and we didn't. So we're going to head down to Belturbet. We'll spend the night there, and we'll have a look around Belturbet town, see what there is to do. So guys, just to give you an idea about whereabouts on the island of Ireland we are. This is the town of Belturbet, and this is the most southerly point of the Erne navigation system. This is where the Shannon Erne Waterway meets the Erne system, and from here you can see this is what they call the upper loch. It's not so much a lake as an interlace of waterways. Between the upper and the lower loch lies the town of Enniskillen. As we continue further north, the lower loch, or as it's sometimes referred to, the broad loch, and you can clearly see why. We travel a little bit west, and this brings us to the final end of the navigation. This is the town of Belturbet. You may remember we explained in another vlog, you can only leave your boat in the moorings for a maximum of 5 days. These are in the public harbours. So, because we have to go back to work, unfortunately, and so we're going to put the boat into a private marina, and we've been in touch with a guy called David in the Queevy waters, which we were there 20 something years ago. I just remembered it's been a beautiful place. It's up near where the Ulster Canal, which is now derelict, but it's up where that meets the Shannon, or where it meets Lough Erne. And I said we haven't been there in a long time. I hope it's as beautiful and picturesque as I remember. But even the name Queevy waters, it just sounds nice.
I'm concentrating here because it's very narrow.
Yeah. That's the thing it is. And because we've twin engines, if you imagine, we've kind of a propeller on each side, not one in the middle, so they're closer to the bank. If you lose your sense of direction, you end up on one side or the other. You have a good chance of clipping the propeller. So this bridge here is the Senator George Mitchell Peace Bridge. And Senator George Mitchell was a fantastic guy. And he played a pivotal role in the peace process here in Northern Ireland. What better or more fitting tribute could you build to a man like that than a bridge that links the Republic of Ireland with Northern Ireland? Because that's what George Mitchell did. He built bridges. So this is where the Shannon Erne Waterway meets Lough Erne, and you can see there's plenty of markers here. We're going to swing a right, and we're heading down here towards a spot called Foley's Cut, and that will lead on towards Belturbet. Now there are plenty of markers on Lough Erne, and there's really not any excuse for not noticing where you're going. You see we're just passing through a pair of them now. And if you look up ahead in the distance, you might just make out a white boat heading towards us. And you'll notice he's on one side of the lake and we're on the other. Round about this point, we realised, yeah, there's a reason for that sharp turn. There's another marker over here and we'd missed it. Could have gone aground there. So easy to do. So it's glorious sunshine, guys. We've come down the Shannon Erne link. We're now onto Lough Erne, and we're onto what they call the upper loch. It's It's the one that if you look at a map, it's the one that's down lower. Don't ask us, there's a reason for it, but this is called the Upper Lough. It's not really, from what we've seen at the moment, it's not lake, it's loads of little channels in around islands. It's certainly in weather like this, it's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? We nearly had a little incident. We were going through a spot called Foley's Cut, and I was telling Marion about a time when we came through there many years ago in a different boat, and I had a depth sounder on it, and I was watching the depth sounder, and I said, God, it's getting terrible shallow. And then as I looked up way over on this side here, I spot a marker that it was on the wrong side of, and I swung the boat and got on the right side of it just before we went aground. And as I'm telling Marion this story, guess what happens?
You came across the same marker. Well, I didn't see it.
Yeah, but the fact that we very seldom miss markers, but we've missed the same marker twice. We didn't go aground, but we did do a very embarrassing 90-degree turn and boom, onto the other side of the...
Well, you had said to me, watch the boat that was coming towards us.
I did, yeah.
And I was watching
well,
the
he was correct, but...
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
Sure, look.
And
No,
thing
there was no harm done. There was no harm
There is
done.
a bit of movement today.
Oh, there's plenty of boats around
it's
now.
because the sun
But
is out and that.
yeah, the sun is out. It's a weekend. Today it's a Saturday, so there's plenty of boats out and about and lots of activity. But we're actually getting burnt here. It's glorious, super duper. So this is Lough Erne. We're on the approaches towards Belturbet, and that's where we're going to go tonight. Just outside of Belturbet, this is the International Fishing Centre. Lough Erne is, of course, a world famous fishing location, and I'll put a link for the website in the description below.
Well, here we are arriving into Belturbet. As you can see on the right hand side, there's a lovely marina. That's Belturbet Boat Club. It's a private marina. And on the left hand side, it's public moorings. The 5-day rule applies here. And as we come down through the river here, we'll come to a bridge, and that is actually the start of the Erne. From here, the Erne flows all the way through Enniskillen, and from Enniskillen to Belturbet, and that's where we're hoping to end up, is in Belturbet.
This was also once the site of a dunking stool where rough justice was dished out to the women folk. So we're just heading into the Quivy waters, and somewhere in here is where the Ulster Canal meets Lough Erne, and we're going to try and find that. How you doing?
Low bridge.
Do you know what? A cup of tea would be just right round about now. So guys, this is the limited navigation for us. That is the entrance to the Ulster Canal. It's under restoration now at the moment, and it'll be a long process before it is opened up to navigation. But we did come up here 23 years ago on our old wooden boat called Trindle, and you can see where the dam goes across it there. We nudged that with Trindle. I'm not going to try and nudge it today because I won't get the boat back out. This is just, it's too heavy a boat to try and do something like that, but you just get stuck. So there we are, guys, the Ulster Canal. Hopefully in our lifetime we'll see it open, but I won't hold my breath. So I feel kind of good now that we've got up and got to see the Ulster Canal. I feel like I've scratched an itch. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. Say it was 23 years ago that we were at that particular spot, and it's kind of poignant to go back there all these years later. It was really nice. Just before we got to this point here, we met those fishermen, and they didn't have English, but they were trying to tell us you can't go past here, there's not enough water. But thankfully we'd spoken to Drew up in Quivy Marina, and he'd said no, you'll have plenty of water, you'll be okay, you'll be able to get up as far as the canal, but not to go past the canal, because when you head up towards the concrete bridge that we could see there, apparently it gets quite rocky at that stage. But we just wanted to get up to the canal. That was really good, really enjoyed it. Happy with that. That's a satisfying day. I once wanted to go to Pamplermo in Spain, where they do the bull run, and when you look at that beast of an animal, I think I must have been off my trolley to even think I wanted to do such a thing. You imagine 15 or 20 of those bulls running down a road and you running away from them. God, what was I thinking? As a rule of thumb, I'll tell you what I do. See the way the river's bending to the left here? The shallow water will be on the left hand side of this bend. Make sure you can see, you might be able to just make out there's a couple of lilies growing there. So I'm kind of concerned about the depth because we're really kind of cutting it close here. We're at as shallow as we can go in this boat. But if I keep a little bit over to the right hand side here, that's where the deeper water will be. And then further on, this river will bend to the right and we'll keep to the left hand side. And you can actually see, if you look at the topography of the ground here, on the left hand side you can see there's lilies growing there on the inside of the bend, whereas on the right hand side you have the reeds. Well, sadly, that brings us to the end of another episode. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed recording it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, because thumbs up help to promote the channel. Guys, that's it for this episode. We'll see you again in the next episode. Thanks for watching.